day off dodging deers, trying not to kill a deer. There he goes. He lived to tell the tale on that one. Got him lucky I saw him, or I would have nailed him. He's lucky I saw him. We're both lucky. Anyway, what a way to start the day. Little Dave Alvin and miss a nice looking buck on the highway. What more can you ask for? And having work. So anyway, good morning. I'm out here on Highway 81 headed north. I'm going to be on Highway 81 pretty much all day. Well, not all day. Yeah, all day, I guess, because I'm heading up to Wichita, Kansas with a 35-foot trailer with ramps, with dovetail ramps on it. It's just a flat trailer. And I'm going to be delivering it to a customer at a truck stop. It's going to be interesting. I've never made a delivery like this. And I'm not sure what to expect. We'll see how this goes. I don't know. It's like I think the person that bought it is somewhere else working, but he's got somebody who's supposed to come sign for it or something. I have no idea. And then I'm supposed to lock it up for him. So we'll see how it goes. As long as I got somebody to sign off on my paperwork, I'm good. It's my big deal. So today, I've got a couple of things going on. I'm sick as hell, actually. I've got a really crappy head cold. It's not COVID. It's just a head cold. No fever. Just stuffed up nose, stuffed up head, all that. Yesterday I couldn't talk, so it's a good thing I didn't have, I didn't have this deal yesterday to test it. So this is a new camera. The forward-facing camera right now is not my normal Sony. It is a DJI Action 3 camera, and I tested it last night when I went and fueled up, and I liked everything about it except it kept turning itself off. It would get hot and turn itself off. So I got home and got on the internet, got to looking, and as it turns out, in the European Union they have some rule about dash cams that if they get to a certain temperature they have to automatically shut off. Don't know why the government has that much control over something like that. Not our government, European country governments. And evidently they have a lot more control over stuff there even than ours does. And ours is bad enough. So when you buy this camera and you start running it, you'll run it 5 or 10 minutes and it'll shut itself off. It's like, well, that's not going to do me any good. So I got to looking, and this is a well-known deal. And there's an easy fix for it. You just go download a file and stick it in the root directory on your data card, and then it will tell it to stop shutting it down. It overrides the European Union's directive to shut it down when it hits 47 degrees centigrade. Sorry. Probably be doing this all day. So I was a little skeptical, but I inserted the file and I let it run for about an hour, well, till the battery ran down. I was like, okay, good. It actually works. So the evil European Union override has been overridden, and I can use my camera. And we'll see how it does. This is going to be my first full day of filming with it, and if it works, it's going to be fantastic. If it doesn't, I'll have to go back to the drawing board, because my big Sony is sitting on my workbench in multiple pieces. So I'm in the process of taking it apart and trying to figure out what's wrong with it, what got broken inside of it, or what's tangled up or jammed or whatever. But I haven't gotten into the lens compartment yet. I've been working on it in 5 and 10 minute increments because I don't want to break anything. I think I already busted a little piece off of one, kind of an insignificant piece, but still, it's pretty tricky getting into it. It's like, I don't know, multi-levels. It's like unwrapping one of those Russian dolls or something where, you get down to this layer and then you got to go back and do this and this and this and then you get the next layer. So it's taken me a long time. And it doesn't help that my head is all stuffed up and stuff, because when you got a head cold, it makes your eyes water, and when your eyes water, you can't see up close, right? I'm like, okay, I'm fighting an uphill battle here. I'm just going to wait until I get over this cold, and my eyes quit watering, and then see what I can figure out with it. So that's what I'm doing with that. So as of right now, the Sony is retired. It may never run again if I can't get into it and figure out what's going on with it. So it's a great camera until it's not. Sorry, I got all this congestion trying to break up. I've been pretty sick the last few days. Not like on my deathbed sick, but miserable sick. So, speaking of sick, an update on Bill. So I think I updated you in the last video that he had his scans and they determined that his cancer's trying to come back. Well, he's scheduled for the end of the month, right after Thanksgiving, to go and have some experimental treatment. It's the same treatment that he had originally that put it into remission for 3 years, but they're using a different isotope to attach to the tumors. So it's supposed to be, instead of like hitting it with a hammer, it's supposed to be like running over it with a bus. So we will see. But he got into the study, and it's not the initial study. This is like the final study on it, I think, is how he described it, which means that he will definitely get the treatment. It's not like some do and some don't. It's not like a blind deal like that, where some people get it and some don't. It's the people that are in it now are definitely getting it, and then they're looking at the long-term results on it. So but he's been having issues. He's been having issues with it. You know, it's a shitty disease, guys. I hate cancer. I hate it. You know, it killed my dad. It's torturing my husband. My brother-in-law's got it. It's making him miserable. It's just like, I hate that shit. I'm not the only one. I'm not alone. Not much consolation there, but still, you know. So I've got to go right smack through Chickasha. I could cut through the back way. I might. I think I will. We'll take the back way. I haven't had you in this way yet. That ain't it. It's the next one. Don't get excited. It's not that turn. This one up here. This guy behind me was getting excited. He got over here in the fast lane. As soon as I got over here, he pulled in behind me. It's like, piss off, I'm turning. Some people like to be pushy, and they like you to mind them, you know what I mean? People like to have a little bit of control, even if it means, well, especially if it means control over other people and what they do. Now I gotta make these turns wide because I got 35 feet of freaking trailer behind me here. I'm always watching my tires when I come around a corner. My trailer tires, make sure I clear everything. I don't want to hit anything with the tires or the trailer. Taking this backwards route here might minimize the chance of me having too much trouble in traffic, because it will get me out of the traffic and take me kind of around the west side of town up to Highway 62, and then I can get back on 81. 81 makes a big sweeping turn to the right here off to the east and then up, and then you have to backtrack coming across when you get to the north side of town. So I'm just going to circumvent all that and go around the west side. And so just in case you're wondering, that's not fluffy coffee. That's homemade coffee. I finally gave up the fluffy, and I'll tell you why. It wasn't as much, like me, have a great willpower or anything like that. There's a shortage on the particular flavor I like. I don't like any of the other flavors, and I went to get some the other day out at the Dunkin' Y, and they're using a different brand. So I was like, I'm done. That's a good excuse for me to quit drinking that shit altogether. At that point, I just lost interest in it. It's like, if I can't get what I want, I'm not going to drink something else. You know what I mean? If it's not the good stuff, I don't freaking want it. No interest in it. And in my little world I live in, there's only one good flavor. There's only one flavor I like at all. And that was it. So, of course, that's the one they either discontinued, or I don't know why. I tried ordering it, I tried getting it everywhere I could. Nobody had it. The company wouldn't even answer me. I asked them about it. I'm curious about how this camera's going to do on rough roads, and this is a good one to test it on. It does not have a built-in gimbal situation with the suspension like the Sony had, so you may see a lot of shaking and rattling around. I don't know. And I don't have it on like a hard mount. I will eventually, damn road, I will eventually put it on a solid mount up here, kind of back off the dash a little bit, because it's a little bitty camera, or I'll get a windshield mount for it. I think I'd rather do that. Have it, stable with the windshield or whatever. But right now it's just sitting up on its case. And it's sitting there just fine. It's got a sticky bottom to it. So I've got it stuck to the top of its case, and the case is sitting just fine. It's not moving much. I mean, everything's moving a little bit because the truck is rattling around on this shitty road, but oh my gosh. I haven't had a cold like this in years. Years and years and years. It's been mostly sinus and headache stuff, and I would think it was a sinus infection, except it's not showing the signs of an infection. I have no fever. It's just congestion and drainage. Oh, what fun. I know. What a nice topic, huh? Blah. Yuck. Yuck is right. But we've got some color to the trees this morning. I hope this camera's picking it up. It looks like it is. It looks like it's going to do really well in a low light situation, which I think is pretty great. I've got it zoomed out quite a bit. If I shoot it close up, or if I shoot it all the way out, you can see the whole hood of the truck. And I don't know if I like that. Don't really. Kind of one of the things, I'd like to have it mounted higher so it would miss more of the truck, or I could give you a wider view. I mean, I can give you a wider view. I'll zoom out to that. make it do it here. Ah, freaking road. My God. Makes it a little difficult. Okay. There we go. Zoomed out some. Well, that's looking a little weird to me for some reason. How's that? There's a method to my madness. I know this doesn't look like a great place to be hauling a long trailer through. Have faith in me here. A little trust. Have a little faith. Back here to my right, that little strip mall thing we just passed. When I was a teenager, there was a head shop in there, and they had the neatest stuff. I spent a lot of my teenage earnings in that place. Not on drug paraphernalia either, on cool stuff. Like I had a giant Buddha that I got there. The big plaster Buddha up on a stand. It got busted years later. Some people were having a fight in my house of all things. They broke my Buddha, pissed me off. I threw them out. But little things like that. It had several kind of cool things. Stuff I wouldn't think was so cool now, you know. But as a teenager, I did. I know, it's hard to imagine I was a teenager once, right? Not for me. I still feel like that same teenager inside in a lot of ways. And in a lot of ways not. I was thinking about this the other day. You know, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. I was born in the late 50s, so I'm pretty old. I fully admit my age. I'll be 65 in about a month. So I was thinking about how different things were. We were a lot freer in the 60s and 70s. In a lot of ways. The government didn't really tell us what to do so much, or try to get so involved in all of our stuff. They weren't all up in our face all the time like they are now. Okay, this is going to be interesting because this is there we go. Got it. It's making I clear that curb with the back of the trailer. It was just a much freer country back then. Why is my horizon all goofy? Looks weird. I think it's the front of my truck making it look like that. Come on. Give me the zoom function, would you? There we go. Let's get this zoomed in a little more. That might be better. I kind of like that. That's over more more centered in the truck. This road's got a pretty good lean to it. Kind of a colorful sunrise we're having this morning. Kind of pretty. The sun's been coming up from the southeast, so I can tell the season's change. In the summer here, the sun comes up slightly north of east, and in the winter, when it gets to wintertime, it's quite a bit south of east, and we're in that stage. This is a pretty good way to get around Chickasha without having to deal with stoplights and traffic and going right through town. Kind of like this. I used to use this route a lot more when I was dragging my own trailer around, because I went up through this path quite a bit heading up into places in Colorado and Kansas and wherever to haul oil field stuff too. So I went last night and topped off my DEF tank, my diesel exhaust fluid tank. Made sure that was full, and topped off my diesel tank. I didn't top it off. I filled up the tank. Bought 40 gallons of fuel, and I was so lucky. I couldn't believe it. I found it for $3.69. Everybody else around is like at $4.29. And I found it for $3.69, and I hit that quick. I was like, yes, I need that. I need that price. This is where we have to backtrack about, I don't know, a mile or so to pick up Highway 81 again. Is there $3.99 on diesel there? That might be the cheapest up here. It was kind of funny because I kept thinking all the way back from Oklahoma City after I picked this thing up I needed to stop and get fuel. Then you can see the sunrise. Now we've turned east. Turned southeast actually. We're not facing east, we're facing southeast. Junction 81. It is a pretty sunrise. This is really nice. I like the clouds. It keeps me from being totally blinded. Alright, this is where we pick up 81 again. And we're heading north. So my intention here is to stay on Highway 81 all the way up into Kansas until I hit 160. And then I need to go west on 160 a mile or so, and then north again. I think it's Highway 43 that will take me right into Wichita, where I can get on the loop and get over to the truck stop where this thing is getting delivered at. Gotta keep trying different things with this camera because I'm not sure of it. I'm not sure how it needs to be sitting. I'm pretty sure I want to get a windshield mount for it though. I think, pretty sure. Sorry to keep moving it around and stuff. This is trial and error in action. So this particular camera, it came with 2 batteries. It doesn't come with an independent charger. It comes with a cord that you can plug it in and charge it through the camera. So I actually ordered 2 extra batteries and an independent charger that charges 3 batteries at a time. So I've got a total of 4 batteries fully charged today. We'll see how long they last. They're supposed to last about 160 minutes apiece. If I can get 2 hours out of each battery, that would be great. That would be a whole day, you know, typically. I might film 8 or 10 hours a day and then whittle it down to, you know, an hour of actual video that I publish. But I'm definitely keeping my opening footage from this morning with the buck and all that. That's probably some of the best footage I've gotten. He was just there, you know. That was pretty awesome. Pretty cool. I'm glad I saw him because I really didn't want to hurt him. I don't want to run into any critter, you know, ever. There's one that wasn't so lucky, poor thing. Hurry because I'm just going to text them when I'm an hour away and somebody's going to have to come out and meet me. So my instructions were delivered today and call an hour before I get there. Okay, I can do that. sniffling and snorting, trying to breathe through my nose and not being very successful. So that part of it is over with, thank God. That kind of went away. Yesterday morning I could actually breathe. So it's just the residual stuff, I guess. It's got to work its way out of your system somehow. I'll be glad when it gets out of mine and goes away. I'm trying to think the last cold I had. I don't even know. I mean, maybe still in Colorado. And we've been here for 14 years, almost 15 years. It's been a long time since I had an actual cold. Long time. When I was reviewing my test footage yesterday was that I could read the street signs really well on this camera. I hope that holds true today. That's another thing I'm going to be testing, see if that continues. But to me, this is all experimental anyway. It's not like I get paid to do this. It's just something I do for fun. And to maybe, hopefully, at some point, create even if it's just a little, what they like to call a stream of revenue. It would be nice to make a little money, a little extra money doing this. I don't know. Now, I'm going to be starting a secondary channel. Once I get my eBay shed that I've got in the works. So this is what I've been thinking about doing. I've got a whole bunch of news too. So I think I told you Bill sold the lake house. We should be closing on it this next week, so that'll be a done deal. And with the proceeds, we're going to pay off the farm, so we don't owe anybody anything. That's the only thing we owe money on. And between if we just count up what we're spending a year now on mortgage payments on the farm, lot payments at the lake, lot payments in garbage and electric and taxes, just those things, that'll save us about $12,000 a year. So that's all wonderful. And then I got to looking around, and I can get a nice size shed, like those, pre-built, prefab sheds, and get it delivered out to the farm, have it sitting up, and set it up, off the ground. I don't want it sitting on the ground. We can block it or whatever. Put piers under it, whatever. I don't care. But I just want it up off the ground a little bit, so I don't have a problem with, like critters getting in it. And then I can move my whole eBay operation out into this shed, but it's going to have to be insulated and whatever, and have, heat and air put in it. You really have to have climate control for your inventory and to work in, so. This is Pocasset, Oklahoma that we're in right now. The thriving metropolis of Pocasset. Still on Highway 81 northbound. So once I get started with that process, I'm going to do another channel just for that side of things, for the eBay side of things, just for fun, a lot of people do the channels to drive their eBay sales, and that's a fine idea, and I'm sure it helps. And a lot of people do eBay to drive their YouTube viewership, which that's fine too. And I know a lot of people out there do that, but I do it too. You know? That's the cool thing about YouTube and media, that kind of media, that it's open to everybody pretty much. You know, it's accessible to the masses, as they like to say. It's changed a lot. The concept of media has changed radically since I was a kid. You know, media when I was a kid was 3 channels on TV, 4 when we got PBS, ABC, NBC, CBS, and PBS. That was it. And whatever radio stations you happen to be close enough to pick up. And then, of course, newspapers and magazines. That was media in the 60s and 70s and 80s, you know, and earlier and whatever. Now media is a completely, vastly different critter. Everything. Social media, open platforms. We still, of course, have ABC, NBC, and CBS, and they all suck. And Fox and PBS, and they all suck. Because they're all pushing a biased agenda, all of them, you know, one way or the other. So it's really cool that we have access to YouTube, where people who aren't pushing those agendas can just do their thing, you know, and if you're interested you can watch, and if you're not, you just go on and look for something else. So it's pretty neat, actually. It's one of the neater things about, you know, the internet. There's a lot of stuff about the internet that's kind of a pain in the butt, but you know, it's expensive for one thing. If you actually really want to have full access to it, it's expensive. You have to pay for it every month. And there is a lot of censorship that goes on, which is a bad thing.